Welcome back to another episode of the Bench Mob Ent podcast, the best sports pop culture podcast in New Jersey. We got the usual suspects: Greg, Mr. Hot Takes, Sinsmere, Miles, Smooth Operator Davenport, and off his hiatus, off having 2 kids, off negotiating Shador's contract to be a podcaster. We got none other. Back into the fold. CVO, Cincinnati's very own. Chris, back in the building. Fellas, how y'all doing?
Good. Well, good, bro. You should be asking Chris that. Yeah, the fans have heard from Chris in a minute.
Yo, it's what's funny is that my first episode back I already messed up the opening. back like the old days, bro. You came out with a new intro. We got intro music now.
I like that intro, by the way.
Yeah.
I like it a lot.
See, you caught me off guard. You see, I was about to yell at you because it played mad loud on my speaker. Lindsay's about to come down here and yell at me, talking about you waking the kids up. But nah, man, it's been good. Two kids is definitely different. I know you can attest to that, Tone. But nah, it's good to be back.
Let's give it a round of applause for that.
That's hilarious. We got an audience now.
All right, here we go. Do us a favor before we get into this. Make sure you subscribe on our YouTube channel. Share. Make sure that if you're listening to this, make sure that you gave us a 5-star rating, leave a review. We would greatly appreciate it. We're trying to be here for a good time and a long time. On today's episode, we got the AFC North Preview, NFL award predictions, discussion on college football, week 1, Shohei Ohtani's greatness, and more. We'll start off with Shohei Ohtani became the first player ever to have 43 homers and 43 stolen bases in the same season. Is Shohei the best player in baseball?
Oh, I'm laughing. You know why I'm laughing. Yes, in my opinion, he is. I've been standing on this for a long time. For me, it's as simple as just the fact that we've never seen a guy play both ways, and at this level, and certainly in our lifetimes, he played both ways. And he can pitch at an ace level when he's pitching. I know he's got hurt and he didn't pitch this year, but that's the craziest part is that he's such a good player that he can turn around and pick up a bat and hit 43 home runs. And then he's at his size, he's a big dude. He's like 6'4", 6'5", can turn around and steal 43 bases and do something that's never been done in MLB history. We've seen guys hit a lot of home runs. We've seen guys hit for incredible averages. We've seen that. That's not new. We've seen that in the sport before. That's just the thing that happens. It's still an extraordinary feat to hit 60 home runs in a season or to hit however many you hit. That's amazing. But to be multifaceted the way that he is and affect the game so many different ways, the way Shohei can, it's something we haven't seen. We may not see again. So I'm appreciating it while we get a chance to see it. He's an incredible player. So yeah, he is, in my opinion. And next year when he starts pitching again, he's able to hit at the same time. He's going to remind everybody why he's so special, but he's still doing that even now. So he's unquestionably the MVP of the NL, but certainly the best player I've seen in a really, really, really long time.
I mean, as a Mets fan, that makes sense. But
yeah, whatever.
I'd say no.
Oh,
I'd say I still would take Judge over him. Not biased. I mean, look at the stats. He's going to have another 60 homer season. This doesn't happen, and he's hitting 330.
It doesn't happen? We haven't seen it before? Miles, we've never seen 60 home runs before? He's the first guy?
60 and 330, a possible triple crown. I think the only other person to do that might be Bonds. I mean, that guy was off something. So I guess you got to be off something or just really good.
Maybe. And you're the one saying it.
Ohtani, 40-40, that's real special. I mean, Acuna did 40-70 last year. So, I mean, I think everybody forgot about that. It's cool. Yeah, he's a DH/pitcher, but he's also coming off of his second Tommy John surgery. So we don't know how much longer he will pitch. It's a big assumption that he will pitch. I mean, I think the Dodgers really signed him just because he's the second biggest name in baseball right now. It is what it is.
That was the most ridiculous response I've ever heard. That guy. What are you talking about? Second biggest name in baseball. He's a global star. He's a star in his home country. He's a star here. He plays in LA, a huge market. He went to the Dodgers, a blue blood franchise, the same way the Yankees are. What are we talking about? How is Shohei not definitively the best player in baseball? And look, I get it. 330 and 60 horns is ridiculous. It's incredible. There's definitely a debate to be had. I'm not going to sit here and say it's not, but like
it's not good enough though. I guess he got to do 70 and 360 to get recognition as the best player.
If this guy wasn't an ace level pitcher, I would agree with you, but he is. And just because he's hurt doesn't diminish the fact that he is that good at pitching. He still is that good at pitching. So for me, I don't really see how it's much of a debate because of that.
He's not pitching. We're going off of what's going on right now.
I'm going off what he is. I'm going off of what he is.
He's got 40-40 right now in a league that they enlarge the bases so they get more stolen bases.
Oh my God.
The bases. I mean, guys weren't getting 70 stolen bases like they were back when Ricky Henderson was playing. So now Ohtani, who he's played full seasons before, and I think the most he's gotten was like 25, 26 stolen bases. Now, I mean, he's playing in a stacked team. Like, nobody's holding him on. It's a bigger base. He should do that. He's athletic. He's a good athlete. I mean, he's really impressive. Everything you mentioned, I get it. But Judge is the superstar of the Yankees, the biggest franchise in baseball. He's the most recognizable player in baseball. He's a guy who
is he? He is? You think so?
It's an anomaly. I mean,
he's not.
Yeah, a guy 6'7", 280. If he's walking down the street, I mean, Ohtani could be. I'm not gonna say what I was thinking, but you'll recognize Judge if you're walking down the street.
He's crazy, by the way. I wish you said that, John.
Hey, we don't even gotta go there. We don't gotta go there. We don't. Before this go left about Ohtani being recognizable for whatever reason, we're gonna go on to the next one.
What are your top 3 artists, dead or alive?
It depends on like what direction we go. You can go like Anita Baker, then you can go like Rick Ross, T.I. I've been listening to Kendrick more, Frankie Beverly, Jada Youngin, those different directions.
If you could only listen to one album for the rest of your life, which would you choose?
There's a live album by Frankie Beverly that I listen to. It's that one right there. I could listen to this for the rest of my life.
Which track on here is your favorite?
Well, I think the live album feel gives you like the presence, like you really there. Mm-hmm. I think my favorite track on it is Happy Feelings and Joy and Pain.
Now, for those to give some context in our personal chat, somebody said this ninja is 60 years old. What the heck? So with that being, what was in our chat, I wanted to ask y'all, and for our viewers, when they watch this, y'all could comment below what y'all think. For each of y'all, if you could only have one album to listen to for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Chris is gonna say Morgan Wallen probably, but
what's he gonna say? I am very curious to hear Chris's answer, actually. That's a tough question, man. There's a lot of good ones. And the pausing is not great for podcasting purposes, but it's that tough of a question.
No, it's perfect. It's beautiful. Y'all didn't know nothing about this, so it's bound to happen like that.
For me, I'd go Jay-Z, Reasonable Doubt.
I knew he was going to say that. I knew he was going to say that.
Just like top to bottom, that was him at his hungriest. I think he was still slinging back then. So he was really trying to get it out of the mud. So you're not going to get much better Jay-Z than that. Of course, the Dead Presidents, one of the greatest hip-hop beats of all time. So that's one of my favorite ones.
That's fair, Miles. We locked in. We locked in step because I was gonna say Blueprint 3. Jay-Z was one of my favorite artists growing up. Favorite artist to this date. Went to go see him in concert at Mohegan Sun. Death of Auto Tune, one of the greatest songs by him that ever came out, in my opinion. So I'm gonna say Blueprint 3.
I'm not. I see. I don't want to give a conventional response to this question and say something like Jay-Z. What a safe pick. I
How is it
expect
safe?
nothing left from two politicians that we have on this podcast here. Picking Jay-Z, you think rap, you don't go Jay-Z. It's just incredibly safe. You could have said, even Nas, whatever. Like, yo, I'm not gonna go that far back. I'm not.
Yeah,
Me,
but it's on who you listen to, right? You could go outside of Jay-Z and say Nas, but do I actually listen to Nas like that? Absolutely not.
I'm saying if I polled y'all, if I went to y'all Apple Music stats or your Spotify stats, when was the last time you listened to Jay-Z though? When was the last time you listened to him?
I mean, he's in my rotation for sure, especially on these long runs.
It takes 10 hours to get there to get to a Jay-Z song, but okay. So for me, I'm probably me. I'm gonna say Drake. I'm gonna say Drake.
What a surprise!
I'm gonna say Take Care. I think I'm gonna say Take Care is probably an album I could listen to, like, I listen to it over and over again. Anyways, I probably could do that over and over again. I say Take Care. Take Care is a work of art. In my opinion.
Is he paying you to
he's
give
not.
the takes that you do?
He's not. He's still on top, by the way. He's still leading the billboards and all that stuff. I thought your man killed him. He didn't do all that.
Nobody said he killed him.
That's what he said. That's what Miles said. Miles came on the podcast, said Drake is dead.
I never said that. I said he lost. And you were like, yo, how could he lose? He's too big. He's untouchable.
Nah, I said that. I didn't. After Not Like Us, I did not say that. After Not Like Us, I said that before that.
We're not doing the K-Dot Drake conversation. We still got a lot left on the docket.
Oh, apparently it's not over. Apparently it's not over. So
real quick, Greg, you want me to switch my answer?
No, I don't want to switch your answer, but Jay-Z's
No,
cool.
because that's a good point, right? I'll switch my answer to someone that is not as of status as Jay-Z. We'll say Rod Wave, because I listen to him on the regular. Beautiful Mind, Rod Wave. That album goes crazy.
I like it. There's an individuality to that response because Jay-Z. Everyone says Jay-Z. I could have said Jay-Z. I could have said that. I don't want to say that.
I know you don't have any Jay-Z on your phone.
I got Jay-Z on my phone. I do.
Right, let's see it. Let's see it.
I got Jay-Z on my phone, bro. But I'm gonna go with Take Care, bro. I think Take Care was a great album. I could do that. I almost said Views. I love Views. I love Views. I think Views is in contention for that conversation there. I'm
not really into listening to the rap anymore. So if I had to choose 50 Cent, Get Rich or Die Trying.
Oh, that's a good album.
That was my first rap album I ever heard, and we saw the numbers that it did. But music that I'm listening to right now is rapper Brother Haas, No Pain, No Change. Y'all go check it out. Christian rap. He has bars. He actually, funny enough, y'all mentioned Jay-Z. He was rapping with Jay-Z before he got shot and then gave his life to God. So he has bars. Actually, he was a part of that crew with them rapping. So check him out.
Okay.
Last one we have a 2-minute drill. Man, Ashton Genty from Boise State ran for 267 on 20 attempts and 6 TDs. For y'all, what was the most impressive player from week 1?
The kid from Arizona. I mean, that was crazy. He looks really good. He's 6'5". He doesn't move like he's 6'5". 10 catches, 300 yards, like 4 touchdowns. That's how you start off a season right there and put your name right in that Heisman contention. I feel like that was the biggest name. Either him or maybe the kid from Alabama, future Giant quarterback. He was making plays. He athletic, couple rushing touchdowns, couple passing.
He wasn't even the best quarterback in his conference. He didn't have the most impressive quarterback in his conference. So he's clearly just using that to troll, not being serious.
Break it down.
McMillan, Jackson Dart had a better day than he did. But I'm just being, that's just facts. But for me, I would say you have to go with either McMillan or Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter, week 1, 3 touchdowns, the crazy catch off the bad throw by Shador. we threw it directly to dude's back, but it was and he still makes that play. And then also defensively to go, I think he had like all the snaps defensively and allowed maybe 3 catches for 18 yards is what it was that he did. So you've got to go out of the Travis Hunter or McMillan. McMillan is unreal, but McMillan has been unreal for a while. And I've been watching him and Fafita is his name, for at least a year now, where I've noticed those guys in the connection they had. And I've liked Fafita. I got put on him by another podcast I listen to, Big Blue Bands. I'll plug him on the podcast. And so they've been talking about him and a guy who has great arm talent. I like him a lot too. So, they're smiling by on the screen. They made jokes about me before this, but I'm serious. Like McMillan is really, really talented. Wide receiver 1 in this class, in my opinion. I don't even think it's really much of a debate at all. I would go him or I'd go with Travis Hunter for sure. One of those 2 guys.
Anybody for you, Chris, or everybody's mentioned for you?
Yeah, everyone's mentioned for me. I was going to say Travis Hunter as well, and I think the thing that's impressive about him is, he only had 3 touchdowns, right? But like the snap count, playing both sides of the ball, doing everything he did with the levels of exhaustion that he probably had first game of the season. Your body's not 100% in shape, ready to go that first game of the season. Typically, it takes a few games to get yourself in game shape. So Travis Hunter's been a dog. We know that, but some of the plays that he just made are something to definitely brag about on his behalf. But obviously the kid from Arizona, with the 4 touchdowns that he had, almost 5 if he didn't get stopped at the 1-yard line, and then dude from Boise State, that was impressive, right? Anytime you get 6 touchdowns, you have to look back at the film and be like, okay, how did he get 6 touchdowns, right? But it also looked like the other team wasn't playing the best of defense in terms of tackling, missing tackles left and right. It didn't look like he had to do too much to get an end on. And not to take anything away from him because he's obviously very talented, but he was clearly the best athlete on that field.
Shout out to November X. He said the freshman wide receiver from Ohio State and the transfer quarterback at NDSU. Fun fact, former Bengals Samaje Perine has the record for most rushing yards in a single college football game. 427 yards back in 2014 against Kansas. Wow. Greg, you mentioned it earlier. We were laughing a little bit on the screen because Chris kind of predicted verbatim one of the things that you would say. This season, it is a lot of quarterbacks that's going to be coming out of the draft that scouts will be looking at. We know that our listeners would love to have that information. So we're going to do Greg's top 5. This will be his top 5 quarterback rankings. This may switch up once basketball season starts. He give his top 5, whatever. This is his segment, Greg's top 5. You take it away. What you saw from week 1, quarterback-wise.
You're on mute, my boy.
It's like I'm going to work all over again. I'm into this draft class because you hear from all the analysts that this class won't be as strong as last year's. And so I'm just, I'm going through, I'm watching these guys and guys who stood out to me. And I'd say number 1, the guy who popped to me the most is Cam Ward. Cam Ward is the most naturally talented quarterback in this entire class, in my opinion. Throws it effortlessly, doesn't need to have a firm base, kind of throws the ball like Jordan Love, kind of who he reminds me of a little bit as well. Some things he has to work on, like just some reckless decisions, but or at least one in that game. But he was amazing. He tore up Florida over there. So that was really great to watch there and watch. He's an elite prospect. 2 for me, I'm gonna go. I think Shador was really impressive in that game. I really do think he really was. He merits a 2 spot for me. Again, another guy where you could question the decision he made in the game, throwing it low in the end zone there, where it bounced off a guy's leg, but it took a crazy play for that to be an interception. He was impressive to me too, so I liked him a lot. 3, I'm gonna go Drew Aller. Really impressed me. I liked him a lot, and I didn't see that coming because I thought that last year he was really struggled. His feet and his eyes were kind of like not in sync, and he was all over the place. He was off with his timing. He wasn't hitting wide receivers open at all, and guys really struggled. That offense really struggled because of him, but he really, really did a good job this past weekend against West Virginia before the rain out. He played well. He was on time, and with him, if his mechanics are right, he's a guy who can be a really good quarterback in the NFL because he has all the talent in the world physically, arm strength, size, prototypical size, mobility as well. So I really, really like him, and I thought he did a great job. For me, at 4, Probably not a popular pick, but I like the guy from Arizona, Noah Fafita. I like him a lot. I think he can change his arm angles. He can make those more different platforms as well. He's only 5'10", so that's going to be a knock on him in the draft process, and he'll probably fall a little bit. But I think with his ability to change arm angles, understand what defense is doing to him, put the ball in places where McMillan can go get it. He's throwing the ball to McMillan against double coverage, and he's still confident enough to get that into certain windows as well. I like him a lot. So he's a sleeper. He won't be on everybody's top 5. He's in mine. And then at 5, for me, I think the kid Jackson Dart had a really good weekend too. He's interesting to me. I question him a little bit with his ball placement, and this is going to change. Like Tone said, I think my rankings will change. Guys will go up, guys will go down. But I really liked what I saw from him. 5 touchdowns in that Ole Miss offense too. So he's great. I'll do this. He's my honorable mention, Jackson Dart. Number 5 for me is the kid from Tennessee, Nico. He's number 5, and he could be higher. He's incredible. He's not draft eligible. So I thought we were doing only draft eligible guys. If we are, then I'll put Jackson Dart in there. If we're not, then Nico's in there, and Nico's incredible and could be higher. So I think those are my guys right now. But I'll keep watching throughout the year. This is going to be a good class, though. There's going to be guys to be had.
I'm surprised. Real quick, I'm surprised. Old boy from Rutgers, AK, ain't on your list.
Yeah, here you go.
Hey, for those that's watched, for those that's been tapped in, Greg did predict that Rutgers will win 10 games. They got 1 down, 9 more to go. We'll see if they get that actually to 10 games. But right now, I didn't get to watch the game, but it obviously seems like it's going to be a run-heavy offense since the Rutgers running back is leading the league.
Common guy.
Yeah, he's top in rushing yards in the country. Yeah, so maybe that's how they're going to go. NFL award predictions. We're going to start off with MVP. We'll go around Chris, Greg, Miles. I'll finish it off last. Chris, MVP.
MVP this year? Yo.
Just do it.
Hold on. Y'all see this? Right there?
You got to move.
Oh, yeah, I see the JV.
What is that, a pussycat?
Butterfly.
Yo. Now, for real, though, Joe Burrow. And not because I'm a Bengals fan, not because I'm obsessed with Joe Burrow, but because it's time. It's time because the conversation is going to start to change if he doesn't have a big year, right? He's had a few significant injuries these past few years. This is the first time he's completed a full training camp, and it's time for the excuses to go out the window. He has all the talent in the world. He's beat Patrick Mahomes. He can make all the throws. He has, a great receiving core. It's time for him to show everybody that he can be an MVP player in this league. And I think this is a pivotal point in his career, just in terms of kind of keeping the narrative as he's a top 2, top 3 quarterback in this league. But I think if he gets injured again, or I think if he doesn't have a big season, that narrative is going to start to change. So I think he knows it as well. You've heard some of these interviews he's done this offseason. He's definitely playing with a chip on his shoulder. People asked I remember an interview that he recently did, they were asking him, like, Joe, like, do you think it's fair that, when people talk about, the top quarterbacks in the league, if your name's left off of it because you haven't been out there much? And he's like, yeah, I get it. I totally understand it. So I think he's coming in knowing that he has a lot to prove. And he's fully healthy. He's had a great camp. He looks good. The biggest he's ever been. I think that's something key to note too. He's ready to take some punishment. If it comes to that, I don't think it's going to be because of the offensive line, but I think, hopefully he can use his legs a little bit more. But yeah, man, I think Joe Burrow's poised to have a big year.
No argument from me. I'm not going to argue that one. Although he may not have Jamar Chase, we'll see.
He's going to have Jamar Chase, bro.
That could change things.
We don't get
your pick.
That.
Who's your pick, Miles?
I'm rock with Aaron Rodgers. I'm still rocking with Aaron Rodgers.
Talk about the losing.
Okay. Let's see if Joe Burrow makes it through. Aaron Rodgers, anytime somebody doubts him, what happens? Last time they drafted Jordan Love, it was expected that he was going to be out of there in a year or two. He wins back-to-back MVPs. And yeah, sure. He got hurt last year. plenty of guys have gotten hurt and done something next year. Like it's not like it's an impossible thing to ask for. And this team is going to be good. We've got weapons around him. He doesn't. He's not a bad quarterback. Like that's the thing. People are just assuming that it's going to fall off. Like he's got great touch. The arm is still there. He's hungry. I'm sure he's got a little chip on his shoulder because people say what they want in the media that a 40-year-old quarterback coming off a torn Achilles can't play. So I'm taking the improbable choice, the one that everybody else is too scared to make.
Just notice though, Chris, how the improbable choice is always on his team, right?
I was just about to say, isn't it
his
crazy,
team though?
Isn't it crazy what fandom can do?
Bro, you just literally did the same thing.
Hey, but listen, I'm not saying absolved from that. I'm in the same boat as you, but it is crazy, like being a fan, like the lengths you'll go to advocate for your team and your players.
Because if Aaron Rodgers was on the Packers right now and he got injured, same situation, got injured, came off a blown Achilles, first game last year, he's playing for the Packers right now. You're not picking him as MVP. You're not doing it. You're not doing it. It's because he's
Gary Wilson's not on the Packers. You don't have the same weapons. We got
if Aaron Rodgers, bro, the receivers the Packers have are pretty good, by the way. They're no scrubs. Just being honest. That's a whole different conversation. But you know I'm right. I'm right. That's okay though. That's okay though. For me, it's open. I hate to give the generic response. I think that the Chiefs have done it. The Chiefs have given Mahomes a lot to work with there now. With Worthy being there and loading up and bringing all the other assets they have. Rashee Rice is not in jail. He's still playing football, and towards the end of the season he popped. You still got Kelsey. I'm gonna go with Mahomes. I think that's just a safe choice at this point. I think it's it's a realistic option for MVP as well. So I'll go with Mahomes, even though I'd love to see something else happen. Maybe a Tyreek Hill win it. It'd be fun to see him go crazy. But I think that Mahomes is still that dude. So until you're proven that that's not the case, I think that's a good decision. It's a very safe one, right? That's good money, house money, if you will. Unlike Aaron Rodgers. And Joe Burrow is a great choice. Joe Burrow could win MVP. I'm high on that. I am. I believe that could happen, legitimately. But just to not pick the same people as they did, and to give a realistic option there for MVP, I'd say Pat Mahomes is fair. He's going to be bombing the ball down the field all year this year.
My pick is Mahomes also. I think this year he kind of just going to prove himself to remind people like, hey, yeah, I won it last year, but he didn't have a Mahomes-esque type of season. I think this year he has one of those seasons. They go back to having some type of 14, 13 win type of season. He looks dominant. I see that happening for him. Offensive Rookie of the Year. Same order Chris started off.
Damn, you make me go back to the draft. Offensive Rookie of the Year. Give me a second. Ooh, okay. I'm not gonna go with the obvious. I'm not. I'm gonna go Rome Odunze. I think him and Caleb are gonna develop a really good connection. Keenan Allen is obviously in DJ are great receivers on that team, but I think Rome's gonna be an integral piece to that offense. You've seen the chemistry already during the bits and pieces from Hard Knocks that we were able to watch. I heard Rome Odunze is having a good camp. He looks every bit as much of a pro. The body type is there. The route running is efficient. I'm going to go Rome Odunze.
Was Miles the next one?
Yeah, Miles pick next.
I'm going to go with Caleb. They've got all the weapons there. I feel like, sure, that's the obvious choice. But he's a really good quarterback coming in. It's a better situation than what Justin Fields had. He's got 2 Pro Bowl receivers and a top 10 receiver in Rome Odunze. So I think they're going to throw the ball. They're going to spread it out. He's going to do his thing, and he's going to look really good. You're going to see some plays that, like we saw in preseason, where they're going to compare it to Mahomes and all that stuff. So That goes a long way for the voters, seeing some similarities there. So let me say Caleb.
Can I just say before Greg goes, because I know what plays you're referring to, and I know they were against the Bengals, right? Let me just say that was a third string defense, and that's not to take anything away from Caleb, because Caleb is a great quarterback. But when he was going against the second string defense, the first 4 series, he wasn't doing any of that. That's all I'm gonna say. That does make a difference when you're talking about players that are going to be on your practice squad.
Yeah, fair.
I didn't know it hurt that much.
It didn't. I didn't. But I'm just replaying those messages that y'all put in the chat, and I didn't even chime in that day because I was so busy with schoolwork. But
he was simmering over there.
The Bengals starters did not play that game.
That's all
I'm
fair.
saying.
I was messing with you when I said that, by the way. So
no, I know, but I just had to say my piece. Go ahead, Greg.
Yeah, this is a quarterback's award. So the way I see it going one of 2 ways, either Caleb or Jaden Daniels wins it. If they have relatively good seasons, it's just going to go to the quarterback. The only position player I think that could realistically win this award is Malik Neighbors, because he's going to get 100% of the target share with the Giants. He'll get rookie receiver will get more targets than him. So if he stays healthy, he's going to get so many targets, and they're going to get him the ball in so many different ways. And the offensive line is improved. It is. And Daniel Jones is going to be taking more chances this year. That doesn't mean better football from him. I'm not saying that, but it means that he's going to be taking more chances. He's going to have an effort type of mentality this year, because he could be on his way out, and most likely will be on his way out of here. So because of that, you have the perfect situation, the perfect melting pot of things that's going to happen for Malik Neighbors to win offensive player of the rookie of the year. Offensive rookie of the year. So I think that's the only position player I'd go out on a limb for and say, hey, he could win this award, because they're going to give him the ball in a million different ways. He is already the number 1 wide receiver as well. And so I'm excited to watch him in particular in this offense, because Daboll is an offensive genius, and he's going to draw things up to get this guy going, and with an offensive line he can trust, because we still haven't seen the Giants offense really operate the way Daboll wants to operate. With them having an offensive line they can trust, him and Daniel Jones having time, I do think they're going to connect more than a few times, especially in that end zone. So I'm excited about it. But yeah, I would say that Neighbors is my position player pick, but it's a quarterback's award. So if Caleb has a great year, he's going to win it.
I'm gonna go with a position player. I'm going with Marvin Harrison Jr.
Fair.
Being that he has Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
Out of everybody that we mentioned, he has the most proven quarterback that's ready. He's coming back to prove something, and also himself. Kyler Murray, and he has that dual threat option. I can see it already. Kyle scrambling out of the pocket. Marvin Harrison breaks the route, 50-yard touchdown. I can see that happening for sure. Staying with the offense, not the rookies, but offensive player of the year as a whole, which typically is not a quarterback award.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Tyreek Hill. Someone consistent that shows up every single year. It seems like we're always talking about him week after week, as in terms of a highlight that he's made and just how he's blown past the secondary. Yeah, man, he's just super consistent. Tua and him have a good connection now. Gets him the ball. Tyreek Hill for sure.
Yeah.
We're doing offensive player of the year, right?
Yeah, Garrett Wilson.
I would have said Breece Hall, but I guess that wouldn't make too much sense to some people. I'm gonna go CeeDee Lamb, just because I know Dak is gonna have to throw the hell out of it this year to prove himself. Even though I feel like he doesn't really have much to prove to Jerry, but apparently he does. But there's nobody else really in Dallas. It's him, it's Jake Ferguson. They brought Zeke back, but this is not 2020, so don't have to really worry about him. CeeDee Lamb, he got the contract. Now it doesn't matter if he's a little banged up. He's going to be out there every snap. He might even challenge for the 2K, be the first receiver to get 2K, because, he's going to get over 200 targets this year. Easy.
This is an AFC and NFC award. It's not one award, right? It's one award. Is that what it is?
One award, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because McCaffrey won it last year.
Good to know. Good to know. Okay, so all right, if there's one player overall, I'm taking Tyreek. I'll just be honest. See, Chris hit that on the head. I'm taking Tyreek Hill. If it ain't Tyreek Hill that wins that award, for me, my sleeper pick to win the award would likely be a guy like Josh Jacobs over in Green Bay, which was not going to be a popular pick. But they run the ball. The Packers historically have great offensive lines. And even with Jordan Love being a great quarterback now and being an elite player in this league, they're still going to run the type of passes out of the floor. Everything is set up off of play action passing. That's their offense. So for me, I really like his involvement as a pass catcher in the run game, because Jones had that role before he left, and then also the fact they're going to give him at least 20 carries a game, and he's still a hell of a running back. And so I think in the cold weather over there, they're going to run the ball a lot and have Jordan Love play off of that, and they're going to have some success as an offense. But I like the dimension he brings to that offense. So he's a sleeper pick for me on that.
I'm going with CD also. I'm with Miles. A bunch of targets. Even Jerry said it before he signed him. And his son too, Steven. Hey, CD's going to see the ball a lot. They paid that man that money. Yeah. That he's going, if he wants to get his money, which he will, to have the best successful season, throw the rock to CD. Ferguson maybe Dalvin Cook. Brandon Cooks may show up, may not show up. So I see CD getting it, and I see CD possibly getting that 2K. Switching over to the defensive side. Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Quinyon Mitchell.
Quinyon Mitchell?
Mitchell. He's a dog, man. I think he's going to fit in great with that Eagles defense. They got a great defensive line that's going to get pressure, take the pressure off of him in the secondary, because the quarterback's going to be rushed. And he capitalizes on, that type of play from quarterbacks. He's very twitchy, right? Able to jump routes. I think that's going to fit in perfectly to, he's going to get a lot of playing time. I think Quinyon Mitchell is going to be the guy.
This is tough, by the way. Miles of silence is fair because this wasn't a great defensive rookie class.
Yeah.
Right now, in Vegas, the favorites is Latu and Dallas Turner.
Right. Like the two guys, first of all, the two DNs that went first in the draft, those guys went early. They were the first two DNs to go off the board. Yeah, it's surprise they did that. So that's an interesting pick by Chris. It's fair. I mean, I'm sure the Eagles would love that would happen. I'm sure as hell wouldn't. And they also got Cooper DeJean, the only white cornerback in the world. So we'll see how that goes.
Cooper DeJean's not going to start, though.
I don't know. Don't talk to me about the Eagles. I don't know nothing about them. I don't pay attention to those fools over there. I don't know.
I don't think he's going to start.
He would. Miles would know though.
I think he's out of position too. I don't think he's a corner in this league. He's more of a safety. But
why is he not a corner, Miles?
I just don't think that he's got the quick twitch to stick with some of those guys.
You're probably white.
Let me see. I'm gonna go with Jared Verse from the Rams, just as a sleeper pick. I know they brought him and the other guy from Florida State, to fill the void of what's his name, the guy who retired, Donald. That's right. They brought him in to fill that void, and I think because the back end isn't that great, he's going to have a lot of chances to try to get to the quarterback. So we'll see. Maybe at least 10 sacks this year.
Okay, for me, I'm going to go with Chop Robinson out of Penn State. I liked him a lot. Fast off the line of scrimmage, really explosive. Really strong, can bull rush and get around you. So I think he's gonna have some success early in his rookie year. He'll pan out to be a good pick as well. So I like him for this award.
I'm going with Chris. I'm going with the defensive back for the Rookie of the Year for defense. I'm going with Terrion Arnold over with the Detroit Lions. That's a team that's possibly a Super Bowl contender. He might be a part of that missing piece that helps him get over the hump. So Terrion Arnold, Defensive Player of the Year overall. Right now, of course, every year they rotate this through. Michael Parsons is the favorite according to Vegas, with Myles Garrett on the back end, and then of course, who would you think in third place according to Vegas is T.J. Watt.
T.J. Watt. You know, I'm okay. I'm not gonna go out of order, but I know who I'm picking already because I know who's reliable.
Chris, Blank.
Oh, we started?
Yeah.
You said DPOY?
Yeah.
TJ Watt. TJ Watt. You talk about reliable, someone that shows up every single year, wreaks havoc on the offense, in the backfield, getting interceptions from tip balls on the D line. TJ Watt is not natural, right? He's not human out there. I don't know how he didn't 19 sacks last year, didn't win DPOY. I think he comes back with a vengeance this year. And again, just someone who's the heartbeat of that team, right? Not even on the offensive player side of things, but just from he's just unreal. There's nothing to say about him. He's unreal.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Daniil Hunter from the Texans. I think that defense is gonna be a lot better than they were last year. And they had a solid defense. They still got Stingley coming back, and the defensive rookie of the year last year, and Will Anderson. So I think having him on the other side is going to open up a lot of one-on-ones for Daniil. And he's coming off a career year where he had like 16 and a half sacks for Minnesota in a walk year. So I do think on a defense like this, he can at least get to 16 and a half, maybe even push towards that 20 range. And I mean, if that's the case and they're winning games, which they're probably going to win a lot of games this year, that should put him at one of the forefront favorites for player of the year defensively.
So I'm inspired. I'm inspired by Myles here. So I'm gonna go out on a limb. I'm gonna take Dexter Lawrence as defensive player of the year. I think that's what I'm gonna do. And Myles, you look.
I'm not gonna say anything.
You get your homegrown picks. You get your homegrown picks. But for me, the reason why I'm going Dexter Lawrence is because no defensive lineman has gotten more interior pressure on the quarterback than Dexter Lawrence in the league. There's an argument for Dexter Lawrence to be considered the best defensive lineman in football, the best interior defensive lineman in football. There's a real argument for that. He's that good as well. So the reason why I'm going to pick him is because I think with Brian Burns being there and Kayvon Thibodeau being there and suddenly a very solid rotation of defensive linemen the Giants have, he's going to have some success and get him a few more one-on-ones. The double teams don't even work. Last year, he wreaked havoc. So I just think this year with Brian Burns being his little terror twin over in New York, and they'll be able to get over there and make some magic happen and get after the quarterback, and he'll get some sacks and have the numbers to be considered for the award in an Aaron Donald-esque fashion. I think that's the kind of season he could have, so long as he stays healthy, and he usually is pretty healthy. So I'll go down Dexter Lawrence.
My pick, I'm going to go something different too. Last year, he led the league in pressures with 100 pressures. I'm going with Max Crosby. They did sign Christian Wilkins also this year, so I think Max is going to have a pretty big year. Last year, he had the most sacks he's had in his career with 14 and a half. Over the last 2 years, he's had 27 sacks. I can see another 12, 13 sack type of season, some forced fumbles in there, something like that. That's the highlight, kind of that defensive line right there with Christian Wilkins probably giving some help so he don't see as many double teams. Max Crosby's my pick. We done did DPOY. We did OPOY. Now we're going to do the last two ones, Comeback Player of the Year and Coach of the Year. Comeback Player of the Year, the favorite is A-Rod and Joe Burrow.
Yeah. You already know who I'm going to say for the same reasons I said earlier, man. I'm saying Joe Burrow. I think he has a lot to prove. I think he's going to have an MVP type of year. I think he needs to remind people, why he was the number one pick in 2020. I think it's going to be a great year for him. So I'm going Joe Burrow.
I'm gonna go Joe Burrow too. I don't want to be a homer, so I'm gonna go Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
He's the younger pick. He's he's got the nice hair and the blonde hair.
So, you see, he's such a troll, bro.
He's gonna look good for the voters.
Okay, well, see, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take Aaron Rodgers here, and for a couple of reasons. I'll tell you why. The blown out Achilles at the end in his age. If Aaron Rodgers has a season where the Jets make it to the playoffs, they don't have to win 12, 13, 14 games the way Miles can be about to. If they just get in with 10 wins, 11 wins, whatever it is, he's gonna win. He's gonna win the award because the age factor, the fact that the severity of the injury, the fact that it happened on the first, it's a very memorable injury. It's in our head. It's in our head. We remember it because it happened with him running out with the flag, and it was week one. And it, the intensity in the building was incredible. In MetLife, I've never seen MetLife like that. So you really have to take those things into consideration. He is likely to win the award if he plays remotely well and they have some success, some team success, which is just getting into the playoff berth. Doesn't matter. They don't have to win the division to do it. They just got to get in as a wild card. And and again, doing it in New York, doing it in that big media market where every single week you're going to turn on TV and Greeny's going to be talking about him, and Ryan Clark's going to be talking about him because the Jets. I think that's going to lead to him being comeback player of the year. He's going to be fresh in everybody's mind. The voters will have him in mind if they play well. And the Jets have not had that kind of success in a long time. They haven't made the playoffs much in my entire life. Maybe besides Mark Sanchez's year, they haven't made it. So I do think that if he does it, people are going to be going ballistic here. It's going to be insane. So I do think that it's likely to happen that Aaron Rodgers wins this award. It seems like it's his award to win this year. I will say that. The dark horse for me. Dark horse for me.
So you're saying because the Jets are so bad and have been bad for the past.
That matters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
matters. If they go to the playoffs, it'll be the first time they've gone to the playoffs since literally Mark Sanchez took them there. I don't think they've been since then. Right? So,
does Kirk have a shot at winning this award if he does the same thing with the Falcons?
If you say Kirk Cousins?
Yeah.
There's a chance.
Yeah.
He'd have to have a phenomenal year. He'd have to really grossly outplay Aaron Rodgers to do it.
Joe Burrow.
Joe's incredible. The reason why I think Joe's not going to win it, he's trolling, I know, but the reason why I don't think
Joe don't need to win it because he won an MVP.
There you go. Well, the reason why Joe don't got to win it, Joe won't win it in my opinion, is because if he plays great, no one's going to look at him as comeback player of the year because he's a great player and you just expect it. And Aaron Rodgers is a great player too, but he's older and is also in New York, and the Jets haven't been good in a very long time. It's going to cause hysteria if they just have a moderate amount of success as a team. You're coming off of you're literally coming off of surviving Zach Wilson last year, who went to Denver and looked good in the preseason, by the way, and looked like a different player. But that's a different conversation. It's fine. So I'm just saying I think that the logical answer is Aaron Rodgers. A dark horse guy for me is Daniel Jones. I do think it could happen. In the inverse, if Daniel Jones plays remotely well, team has some success, they win 9-10 games, he could be comeback player of the year. It could happen, especially with all the trolling people do about him. He's on the top of your mind. He's in New York. The Giants winning, again, it's been a while too. Not as long as the Jets, of course, but it's been a while because we were just in the playoffs. But but it's been a while, so he could, of course, be a guy that gets that consideration. So I think Aaron Rodgers or Daniel Jones.
Yeah, the Jets last time they won a Super Bowl, it was around the Cold War, so it's definitely been a while that they've been looking for that. That's just I'm gonna go with just to throw something out there different. This is extremely a dark horse. All your answers are better than this answer, but just throwing a dark horse out there because I do like how he played. He had some flashes before he got injured. Anthony Richardson, he can definitely be comeback player of the year. If he does well, if he actually 9-10 games, like you said, if they can win 9-10 games, he's playing well. He's a dual threat. Please, AR-15, if you watching this, if this gets to you at any point, slide, bruh. Slide, please. I know you as big as Cam Newton and all that. Slide. We want to see you for a full season and see what you got, because he definitely could be in that conversation as one of the best young quarterbacks with the Jordan Loves of the world, the CJ Strouds. We just didn't get to see it because he got injured. Coach of the year. Go. You really got to say.
I'm going to say that's good foreshadowing for my hot take. That's all I'm going to say. Okay. You bringing him up.
Okay. Coach of the year. Funny enough. This man just got back to the NFL. Jim Harbaugh is the favorite according to Vegas.
Yeah.
Who won it last year?
Who did win it last year?
From the Texans, right?
Oh yeah, D'Amico Ryans.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the black ball-headed guy.
This guy.
Yo. Oh my God.
Oh man.
Coach of the year.
I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say Sean McDermott. And I'm gonna say Sean McDermott because I feel like a lot of people are counting the Bills out, and I feel like he's gonna have that team ready to go all season, despite losing Gabe Davis, despite losing Stephon Diggs. I think Keon Coleman's gonna have a huge year and be, Josh Allen's number one target, right? And I think the Bills are gonna be in a position at the end of the year where people are talking about them differently than they're talking about them now, and saying, "Hey, we didn't expect this from this Buffalo team," and that's a testament to the job that Sean McDermott has done. So Sean McDermott, prove me right.
I like that pick.
I'm gonna go a different angle. I'm going with Dave Canales from Carolina. I think this team. I mean, he made Baker look really good last year. Baker revived his career under him as the OC in Tampa. So if he can do that same thing with Bryce Young and they can win a few more games, which they're going to be better this year. They're going to be better than last year. I mean, how many games did they win last year? 1, 2. They were pretty bad. So anything over that is an improvement. And if Bryce Young comes out and looks like you would expect a number one pick to look like, I mean, I can see it. I can see him getting it just because they've been bad for so long, ever since it's like the curse of Cam Newton, that they've been so bad since he's left. So any sign of success, even if it's like 6, 7, maybe 8 wins. If he wins 8 wins, I feel like it should be a lock that he gets it because Carolina's been so bad.
Yeah, coach of the year typically isn't the best coach per se because Bill Belichick would have had it for plenty of years. The Andy Reids would have had it for plenty of years. So typically doesn't go to the best coach actually. Greg, who's your pick? And I'll give mine.
I'll go with the Jersey guy, Raheem Morris.
That's my pick, man. Get off my note.
Yeah, man. Raheem Morris over in Atlanta. I just think the story writes itself. You got to think about all the pieces he has there now. And, I mean, again, historical context matters with this team. You know, they've been sputtering. They survived Desmond Ridder somehow and had to deal with him and his awful play last year. And now they go and they upgrade the position considerably with Kirk Cousins. And Kirk Cousins will be solid. And with all the weapons they have there in Pitts, who I don't think is that good. I'm starting to fear that Kyle Pitts is not that good. But Bijan Robinson, obviously, and then Drake London and all the guys they have there, and then a really good offensive line that allows them to run the ball effectively. I just think that Atlanta's due for a resurgence this year, and certainly at least a wild card spot. So I think that with that being said, and the improvement that they're naturally going to make because of the talent on their roster and the upgrade at the quarterback position, Raheem's going to win. I think Raheem will get the job done. They got Judon on defense. The defense is solid. They got great safety play. I think who's the safety? Simmons over there, I think it was, right? So Justin Simmons. So I really like that team and overall as a team to have a resurgence and to do really, really well. And with that comes getting coach of the year typically.
I ain't going to repeat nothing else. Raheem Morris is my pick. It is what it is. AFC North. Let's break down the AFC North. For those that are new, that just tuning into this episode, that didn't see the other breakdowns, we go by each team. We ask one question. We break it down. At the end of it, we give our prediction of what the record's going to be, who we think wins the division. Starting off with the Bengals, of course. When healthy, Joe Burrow has led the Bengals to a Super Bowl and back-to-back AFC championships. When not healthy, it is no playoffs for them. Is this the year that the Cincinnati Bengals put it all together?
You want me to go? You want me to go?
Chris trying to wait like he.
Yeah, I'm trying to give y'all an opportunity.
I mean, I can talk, but I mean, I'm sure you want to go and talk about your team, right? So
I'll go.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let's see it.
Big Purr.
Big Purr.
Y'all stupid, bro. I do. I think this is the year that the Bengals put it all together for sure, and for a few different reasons, right? Joe Burrow is healthy. He made it through his first training camp since being in the NFL, heading into year 4. shouldn't be significant, but it is. The weapons that this team has all over is still significant, right? You look at the offensive line. This is probably the best offensive line that Joe Burrow has had since coming into the league. With the addition of Amarius Mims through the draft, he's 6'8". He's dealing with a little pectoral injury right now, but he's expected to be back early on in the season. We acquired, Trent Brown from the Patriots. He'll be a solid Band-Aid for us for the time being. It's expected to, again, automatically be the best right tackle the Bengals have had since, Joe Burrow's tenure here. And obviously, what we have in Orlando Brown Jr., guys like Alex Kappa, Ted Karras, and so forth, right? That's just the offensive line. And I think, it's important to talk about the offensive line just given how bad it's been in the past, right? You go back to that Super Bowl year, the Bengals made it to the Super Bowl with one of the worst offensive lines in the NFL because of how talented Joe Burrow is, because of how talented T. Higgins and Jamar Chase are, right? So we've seen him not get it done, but we've seen him take this team to far lengths just based off of his talent alone and the supporting cast that he has. And it's not like we had the best defense that year either, right? But now coming into this season with a healthy T. Higgins, a healthy Jamar Chase, which I do think that situation is going to work itself out. Jeremy Fowler from ESPN reported a few days ago that talks have intensified. I think the frustrating thing with this whole situation, and not to get off track, is that we just don't know what these conversations are, right? Not one reporter throughout these past several weeks has mentioned anything about where these talks are at because no one knows. Jamar's camp's not saying anything, nor are the Bengals. So I do think Jamar plays this year. I don't think he takes this into the regular season. So I think that makes a big difference in what I'm about to say. But I do think the Bengals make a deep playoff run. I'm expecting a 13-14 win season. This is also, and the reason I say that is because this is the easiest schedule Joe Burrow has had since being in the league as well, right? The sixth easiest schedule among all the 32 teams in the league. So I feel really, really good about this season. I try not to get my hopes up, but it's hard, man, when you look at the defense too and how they're coming along. We acquired Geno Stone from the Ravens. We all knew, how he came on last year. We talked about him on this podcast, earlier in the year when he got the pick against the Bengals when they played early on in the season, right? He was that player to watch out for, and now he's on the Bengals as our starting safety. And then also Von Bell, who was on that Super Bowl winning team, or not Super Bowl winning, but the team that went to the Super Bowl with the Bengals. He left in free agency to go to the Panthers for a year. He came back, right? So a couple of key pieces that have me feeling good about this secondary because of the veteran leadership that's there, helping out our young corners and things like that. But yeah, man, I think the talent's there for Joe Burrow. I think everyone knows what type of quarterback he is. Everyone knows what we have in T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. And then the last thing to talk about, man, is just that running back room. Yeah, we lost Joe Mixon, but I think we got better at running back. Joe Mixon wasn't a back that could catch out of the backfield, but he was poor in pass protection, right? Now we have two guys by committee, Chase Brown and Zach Moss. Chase Brown was electric out of the backfield last year. He was a pickup in fantasy that everyone was going crazy over mid-season after seeing what he could do, over the course of a few games. And Zach Moss, we know what he's been in Indiana. He's been a reliable piece to Jonathan Taylor, right? And I think he's gonna play at a really high level. He's in shape. He looks good. So yeah, man, I'm expecting big things out of the Bengals. I know that was a long-winded answer, but y'all ain't hear from me in a few weeks, so you know how to come on here and talk my stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Like, this is a great chance for them to make a playoff run. They do have a pretty easy schedule. I mean, looking at it, they play 4 of the worst teams in the NFL before November, and that's basically like 6-7 games at that point. So that favors them heavily. You get Joe Burrow back. That's also a big plus. Like you said, Jamar Chase will probably be here. T. Higgins playing on this is a contract year, basically. He's not coming back next year. So he's got to ball out too. So these situations usually help the team instead of it should be mutually beneficial for both. If he plays well, he'll get that big deal. And yeah, you're getting Von Bell, Geno Stone on the back end. I know you guys brought in Sheldon Rankins. That's an underrated.
That's right, I forgot that. Forgot to mention him.
Defensive tackle.
Yep.
He was good with us a couple years ago. He's a solid defensive tackle, underrated. So yeah, Bengals. I think that was it. Like, health is just the biggest issue. Like, you just got to stay healthy. That's the biggest issue in the NFL, period. But at QB, if you got Joe Burrow out there every game, I mean, we've seen it. He's taken them to Super Bowl, AFC Championship game. Like, he can do it again. It's just he's got to stay healthy. And, I mean, it goes a long way. They drafted well. They brought in Amarius Mims from Georgia. So hopefully at tackle, they're solidified there. And, yeah.
Look.
One thing to add real quick before you go, Greg, is that, matter of fact, you go, and then I'll add it.
I don't even see the need to get into all the nitty gritty about why the Bengals are going to be good or like what personnel they got. I ain't got to do that. The reality is they're cream of the crop, and they're one of the best teams in the league. We know this, period. And if Joe Burrow didn't get hurt last year, they would have made a run in the playoffs as well. That's just a fact. They have that quarterback. They have the windows wide open when you have a quarterback that great. So that's simple. The big questions are: do they get Jamar Chase paid? You covered that, obviously. I honestly believe they're going to get him paid. I do think they're going to have to pay him. You can't go into the regular season. You can't even risk it. Not having him out there. You just can't do it. And you can't give up games. Not in that division. If the Browns are even remotely improved, which I actually think they will be, I think they'll be a little bit better. Right? And I think Deshaun Watson might settle in a little bit and start playing some decent football. He isn't what he used to. We'll get into that. He isn't what he once was, but I do think he'll improve the team. You can't give up divisions. That's a tough division. It's the toughest division in football, in my opinion. So with that being said, I think they get Jamar Chase paid. I think they go on a run. I think Joe Burrow plays great football as well. The question with them is always as simple as, can you keep Joe Burrow protected with your offensive line, which you covered, and then also can you run the ball effectively and drain the clock? And you're going to need to be able to run the ball and win the line of scrimmage with the offensive line, in particular playing against Patrick Mahomes, and keep that guy on the sideline. That's what it's going to come down to, in my opinion. So I expect them to make a real run to the AFC Championship. I believe in them more than I believe in the Ravens. I'm good. I'm covering everything right now. I believe in the Bengals more than I believe in the Ravens because their quarterback play is that simple. I've seen enough of Lamar Jackson to have serious questions about his ability to be accurate and tight window throws in big moments. That's just the way I view it. So yeah, I expect the Bengals to do great things. Defense is solid. They haven't lost any major pieces defensively for me to have questions there as well. And I think they're going to be a 12 to 13 win team this year. I really do believe that as well. So that's my read on it. Hopefully T. Higgins stays healthy is the other thing. But yeah, I think I feel pretty good about them and what their outlook like this season.
Yeah. Well, one quick thing too is y'all know where the Super Bowl is at this year, right?
New Orleans. Yeah. Oh, so Joe Burrow got to go back to New Orleans.
Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase. Y'all remember the last time they played New Orleans against the Saints? It went crazy. You got to get
there.
Berserk. Huh?
You got to get there. You got to go past that dude. You know who I'm talking about.
I know, and they've talked about it jokingly on podcasts and things like that. But I know, like deep down, there's motivation to. Obviously, every year there's motivation to get to the Super Bowl, but like I think it's intensified this year because of that little added piece. And like, we talk about Patrick Mahomes a lot, and rightfully so because he is one of the best quarterbacks we've ever seen. But there's one guy. Damn, the baby's crying. There's one guy in the NFL that doesn't blink against Patrick Mahomes, and that's Joe Burrow, right? He's 3-1 against Patrick Mahomes in his career, and 5-1 against him and Josh Allen. I mean, this guy is as good as it gets, and yeah, man, I'm so excited for this season just because, again, with T's contract year, he knows he's not coming back. We've made it clear that Jamar's the guy that we're going to pay moving forward. The money's there. It's just a matter of when we want to do it. And I'm not sure if we have it in. Dang, that was a big hit. Oh,
yo, did you see the throw he made?
Wow,
Miller Moss just made an incredible throw. That was a whole shot. He's been the most impressive quarterback I've seen this weekend, bro. He's been balling in this game. He's really good. Okay. Continue.
That's crazy. And for those who don't know what we're watching the USC LSU game, 2020 right now, fourth quarter, 13 seconds left. That's crazy. But yeah, man, I'm just excited. I think it's going to be a big year for all the reasons that we stated.
Moving on to the Steelers. Question for them. Is Russell Wilson the missing piece that they need for that Steelers offense? You have Arthur Smith, who is implementing an offense that is going to be similar to the offense that Russ ran in 2020 when he was in MVP consideration. Is Russell Wilson that missing piece for the Steelers?
No. I just don't see it. I think, granted, the numbers look good last year, but the eye test shows there's a steep decline in Russ. He holds onto the ball too long. And outside of George Pickens and I guess maybe Freiermuth, they don't really have that many weapons for him to throw to. I think with Arthur Smith there, they might try to ground and pound with Najee. They got Jalen Warren. I just don't think he's like a stopgap for them at this point. I don't think he's here long term. Like him, Fields, they're going to be one and done, and they're going to be looking elsewhere. But the Steelers always manage to win at least 9 games, at least while Mike Tomlin's here. So I'll at least set that as the baseline. But Russ, nah, he's not it anymore. I think the worst thing he did was that Broncos country stuff. Because ever since then, it's been downhill.
Steelers. Yeah, I mean, look, Russell Wilson's obviously not the answer at quarterback, and I don't believe Justin Fields is either. And I think the biggest indictment on Justin Fields is the fact that he lost his quarterback battle to Russell Wilson. I think they would have loved to have given Justin Fields a job because he's on the 5th-year option. I think they would have because he's on the 5th-year option, and you want to see what you have, and they can let him go, obviously, without real penalty. But you want to get a look at a guy who's young and has ceiling, right? Who has a ceiling as opposed to a veteran, a proven veteran that you already know what he is, right, based on the tape. But obviously, just Russ being in the league as long as he's been and being the player he's been for as long as he's been that level of player, even in his decline, there's a level of experience he has that Fields does not have. His ability to read the defense is just better as well. The Steelers are going to be what they've been in the past few years. I do think their offense will be a bit better. Obviously, getting rid of Matt Canada. Thank God they got rid of Matt. He was running like a early 1970s offense for that team. It was a joke. So hopefully Pickens just gets more involved early and often in games. I like Jalen Warren, the running back they got over there. I think he's better than Najee Harris. I think but they do have a nice 1-2 punch though with those guys. I mean, you got to make the best of the situation as well. But I really like that. I like that they made improvements to the offensive line as well. So I do think that they've got some things going their way. And ultimately, defensively, when you think about that football team, that's where they're going to make their bones on defense, and they're going to make plays there. But I do think they'll be a bit more explosive offensively. So that equals out to about an 8 or 9, 10 win season for the Steelers because that's what they do, right? Even when things aren't going well, they do that. So they're going to win. They're going to win games, but they'll win just enough games to not fix the quarterback situation fully, unless, of course, a young man named Dak Prescott rolls on down there in a year, which could happen. Viable location for him. So they could solve their problem with Dak Prescott.
We good to move on to the Ravens?
I think that breakdown was clear. I think Steelers fans would love that breakdown, man. Put it in the Louvre. My bad.
You mentioned it earlier with Lamar Jackson. Did the Ravens supply Lamar Jackson with a better receiving corps? Currently, they have Zay Flowers, Mark Andrew, and a 4th-round pick, Devontae Walker. Does he have enough weapons?
Devontae Walker's a good
Mark Andrews.
That
definitely helps a lot. And then I could see them also incorporating Isaiah Likely more because that guy is special at tight end. I mean, he stepped up when Mark Andrews was out. But it's just this is what it is. They don't really use that many. I mean, they used the pick last year on Zay Flowers. Bateman hasn't really worked out. But I think it's going to be a lot of the same stuff. with the addition of Derrick Henry now, that it might be a few more handoffs to him, but we're not going to see crazy production out of the receivers for Baltimore.
You know what's crazy too is Miles brought up a good point. Bateman hasn't worked out, right? And that's not why it's crazy. What's crazy is that they gave him a 3-year extension this offseason. And maybe they're seeing something that we don't see, but he's got to have a big year. Because if he plays well, we're having a totally different conversation. Because a healthy Bateman that looks good, that's winning one-on-ones, right? That's winning those island matchups, catching jump balls and making those contested catches, having Zay Flowers in the slot, a healthy Mark Andrews. This is a team that you need to be worried about from a skill threat standpoint on the offensive side of the ball, especially with the addition of Derrick Henry. Then they can compete with the best of them, right? But I think Bateman's the X factor. You just signed a 3-year extension. Now it's time to show up. Otherwise, Lamar's going to struggle in the passing game because who knows how, and no pun intended, but how likely it is to have Likely and Mark Andrews out there at the same time. Because if Mark Andrews is healthy, then you got to change the personnel if you want to get Isaiah Likely out there as well. But yeah, man, I think it's time for Bateman to step up. He's been in the league a while now. We've seen him not win those one-on-one matchups. We've seen him drop wide open deep balls down the field. So yeah, I think a lot's riding on him this season, just given the fact that they just paid him a lot of money to keep him in town.
Yeah, that's a huge thing we're going to have to see with the Ravens. Lamar, typically, we see it's a great regular season, then playoff time come, and it's a completely different story. Last thing we talking about, Mr. Deshaun Watson. Will we see an improved Deshaun Watson this year? What type of impact, type of season do you guys expect from Deshaun Watson?
Yo, real quick, before we jump into that, I'm going to say this. The receivers were not the problem last year with the Ravens. So I don't care if they upgraded or not. Lamar Jackson needs to make pinpoint accurate throws and using the intermediate part of the field, the middle of the field, and be able to get the ball to his receivers. That's the bottom line. He's living up to the stereotype right now. Just saying it. Just being real. He's not making those throws, and that's why they can't win the big game. So that's me. Yeah, that's what it comes down to their season. If he does that, they win the Super Bowl. They can win. But if he doesn't, then they'll just fall short to Joe Burrow or Patrick Mahomes. That's the bottom line. Browns, I think they'll be improved. They had the roster in place for quite some time, obviously. But I think having Nick Chubb back there and having the ability to run the ball, I think early on in the year last year they had some success running the football. In Deshaun being able to play off of that, right? Deshaun's no longer the guy that's going to win you a football game in and of itself by himself. He's not that kind of independent force. That's not who he is. But I do think there's something to be said for getting comfortable again playing this game after all the stuff you went through. And so I this is it. I think this is piss or get off the pot, or we know what I really want to say. I can't curse on the pot, but piss or get off the pot for him. And this is that year where he has to figure it out and come hell or high water, make plays and win this year for that team, because they've done a lot and they've really invested a lot of capital into him and making sure they had a quarterback that they could trust and they could upgrade the position for them overall, right? They thought they were going to get a chance to win a Super Bowl here with this guy, and he just hasn't lived up to it at all. He just hasn't been good. No matter how many reporters he blocks, no matter how much frustration there is there with him, that's the reality of the situation as far as that goes. So we'll see how that all works out in the end of the day, but I am curious to see how the team works. I do think they're a team that's going to win at the minimum 8 games because they're just that talented. This is the best division in football. No one's going to be 7 wins, 6 wins. This is the best division in football by a mile. But they also have, while they have a floor that's not any lower than anybody else in that division, their ceiling is a team that could win 12 games if Deshaun clicks and starts to figure it out. So I think that's a big sort of question for them. It really falls on Deshaun's shoulders. I don't give a damn about nothing else besides Deshaun Watson figuring it out. And if they can do that, they can beat anybody in the division. They could be good. They're a good team. They're a really good roster, realistically.
Yeah, I mean, I do see Deshaun, if he can stay healthy, that's the key. He hasn't played that many games for the Browns. He played 6 games last year, 6 games the year before. So if he can just be on the field, I mean, we haven't seen him play like Houston Deshaun, and we might never see that guy again. But if he can play like 70% of that, even 60, like they're not asking him to be Houston Deshaun because they've got Jerome Ford, they've got Nick Chubb, but you also have weapons on the receiving end. Like you've got Njoku, you've got Amari Cooper, they just added Jerry Jeudy. So it's not for a lack of weapons on Cleveland. They do have the weapons over there, and you've got a great defense behind you. So you just got to play decent football, and they win games. Like they made the playoffs last year with Joe Flacco. Like he won Comeback Player of the Year, or he won something. But the Browns are really good. Like you said, this defense is, I mean, this division is really good. You've got like top to bottom, besides Pittsburgh, really good teams in this conference. So yeah, Deshaun, just do whatever you were doing in Houston. I mean, do something. Do something that helps this team win. So you don't have to do everything that you did in Houston, but maybe bring the play on the field.
Yeah, I don't know about do everything because that's twice you done got caught up with describing Shohei Ohtani. Now you over here asking Deshaun to do the remix of Nasty Girl. I don't. It might be a little too late for Miles. The smooth operation is not happening. We're gonna end off with the games, and I know Greg said he got a hot take. I want to ask y'all, Jets, Bengals, Giants fans on this screen, right? New game, red pill, blue pill. For y'all squads, would you rather win a championship this year and be a bottom tier team for the next 10 years, or consistently good for 10 years and never win?
The first one. I'm taking the chip. I'm okay with sucking. I mean, it is what it is. Like, if we win, I'm taking the chip. I haven't seen a Jets chip. My dad barely saw a chip. So for sure, I'm taking the Super Bowl, and then we can be whatever for 10 years. I still got the Yankees, Knicks, whatever. But I mean, I know Chris, they've never won anything, so I wonder what you're gonna say here. You're on mute.
You're on mute, bro. Now he might just have Spectrum One. Sorry, fans. It's hard to our supporters. Spectrum One is not a great company.
While he figured out what's the answer for you, Greg?
Yo, so
Hey, now hold on. Yo, I was wondering why y'all couldn't hear me. Miles, you deserve a big pause.
Yeah,
big pause, bro.
a big pause. But
Talking about I'm used to sucking. Pause.
I don't know if I said that.
You did.
Hey, yo.
You did. You deserve the Power 105 Charlemagne the God pause button. Tone, incorporate that into the features. That's crazy. Anyways, yeah, bro. I know your team is used to the losing seasons, but I agree with you. I'm taking the chip now. Would be happy losing the next 12 years if I get a chip now. Because you can say you got one, right? That's what Greg stands on every time he comes on the show and talks to this. He's got more than one, right? So as long as you can say you got one, you got to witness one, you can ride those waves of your team being ass.
Well, I wouldn't say all that, but I'm going to be honest. I do think that winning and championship is the ultimate goal. So you have to go with that. And being as someone, I'm the only person on the call who experienced that kind of feeling and knows what it's like to win a championship. And knows what it takes. Knows what it takes to win a championship. I'm the only one, right? I can speak on that from a very special place.
This dude was like 5 years old, bro.
I wasn't 5. I was 12, and I was 14, I believe.
Now, you watched that first one with Kyrie, didn't you?
I won.
Hey, Capper facts. And I want to hear your answer, Chris, being that you played the position in college. Only one on the screen. You're the only one that played the highest level of football on the screen. RG3, not at ESPN anymore, but he is still putting out tweets. He believes that Travis Hunter should play both sides of the field full time in the NFL. Is that a good idea? Cap or facts?
No, it's not a good idea. That amount of time on the field is going to breed injury. Point blank, period. I don't care who you are. I don't care how good you are. The NFL is a different level. And if anybody should know how significant injuries can be at that level, it should be RG3. So why he's saying that, I don't even know. Can Travis Hunter do that? Now, that's not even shade, but that's just facts. He had a career-ending injury. So, and part of it was because of how much he ran the football. But that's neither here nor there. With Travis Hunter, can he do it? Absolutely. I'm sure he can play both sides of the ball. Maybe not every single snap like he's doing now. And even now, that's going to need to be, winded down a little bit just to preserve him. But yeah, I think there's definitely opportunities to get Travis on the field at the next level on both sides of the ball in situations where, maybe it's a big third down and you want Travis out there locking somebody up, even though he's playing wide receiver. I can see that happening, but do I think he should play both full time? Absolutely not. I think it's just too much.
Yeah, I think his position at the next level is receiver too, by the way. I mean, he's electric with the ball in his hands. We saw it on Thursday night, how good he is. And yeah, defensively, you don't always get a chance to really show what you can do. Like, sure, he's special on defense. He can do two-way in college, but I mean, he's not really getting that many opportunities to make plays, which it's a good thing. It's a testament to how good he is as a corner. But I think big money, you're going to get more money as a receiver than you are as a corner. And yeah, I don't even know if he likes to hit because I don't really see too many tackles on the field too. So if you don't like to hit, that could breed injuries in itself. So just stay on the offensive side and keep making plays.
There's that croissant that RG3 ate must have hit his brain when he ate it because he's saying some stupid stuff. The reality of it is, with Travis Hunter, he's not a refined route runner, in my opinion. I don't think that's really what I see when I watch him play. He's just a great athlete who can hit the burners, and when he hit that second gear, guys can't catch him. I think NFL teams are going to want him to play corner in the NFL, but to Miles's point, there's more money at wide receiver, and also I don't think he's a willing tackler at all. And I don't think you can put him in the box and have him go in there and just hit somebody and be a thumper down there in the box. So because of that, I think it's far more likely that he's going to be a wide receiver at the next level and just stick with that. Playing both ways in the NFL would be impossible. And I know, I know that we have a short memory as a society, but there have been other players in the NFL who have been just as talented. I listened to Champ Bailey talk about how he was recruited at a high level to do both and could have been a wide receiver in the NFL, could have done that, but he chose to play DB. And he said he couldn't have done both. And Champ Bailey is one of the best DBs we ever seen, right? Period. One of one type guy. So I really think that he's going to have to pick one. And if I were him, based on the annual average value of the contracts, I'm going wide receiver. Just from a financial standpoint, it makes more sense. And he's explosive as well. And he's not a willing hitter. He's not a willing tackler. So that's the way it goes there, in my opinion.
I think if he does do it, I heard Ocho say this, and I think it's a good idea. Wide receiver, like I was saying, and on spots, play the nickel, third down, come in here and there. That's the only way it works. We saw it with Dion. That's the most recent one we saw. Dion played DB, and in spots, different times, he went to go play wide receiver. There's no way possible. And Dion, respectfully, his coach, is head and shoulders above anything that we've seen Travis Hunter, and he didn't do it. Dion was playing baseball, professional baseball, and football. Put that out there. Last one we have before Greg ends off the show with are his hot take. Y'all let me know if these players achieve these goals this season. Joe Burrow has a game where he throws over 450 yards.
Yes, he's done it before. I believe he did it the game that I was talking about earlier, 2 seasons ago when they were in New Orleans and Jamar had that huge game. Yeah, but I'm telling you, this is Joe Burrow. This is Joe Burrow's time. He crazy wrist injury last year, had the surgery, got that thing all cleaned up, looked great in training camp. He has no reason not to have these big games, given the schedule that we just talked about, right? The 6th easiest schedule in the NFL. Miles alluded to it. They're playing 4 of the worst teams in the first 6-7 weeks. So that's the time to do it right there.
If he gets hurt this year, is he injury prone? Is that what we're calling him?
I think that'd be safe to say.
Yeah.
Both of y'all said it at the same time. It sounded like Swahili. What was it?
I said it would be a fair assessment. I mean,
I said it'd be safe to say.
Okay. I'm just making sure.
Yeah.
Clip this, Tone.
Hold up, but the one thing I will say to that, because I knew he was gonna bring that up. I was thinking about that earlier. I'm like, yo, Greg's definitely gonna bring this up at some point today.
Because that's the only thing that can stop you. That's the only thing that can mess you guys up. I'm sorry.
Fair.
Mess y'all up.
Fair, but does injury prone? Does it negate the fact that he's had a horrible offensive line? Are we counting that as it right? Because his ACL injury, his rookie year, that was because of the offensive line that we had.
I mean, ask Andrew Luck. Luck what it's like.
Yeah, I mean,
that's fair.
Yeah, like Daniel Jones, same thing. I mean, it's the luck of the draw. So it doesn't negate it. Like obviously, it's a bad situation, but it is what it is. Like he's been hurt a lot, and so just keep him upright. Keep him upright. I mean, it was a freak accident last year. They kept him upright. They did a pretty good job last year, from what I saw. It was just a freak accident when you throw the ball, the foul through, your hand hits the guy's helmet or something crazy like that happens. That stuff can happen, but. Your guards can't get pushed back into the quarterback. You got to be able to keep you got to be able to anchor. That's the term, anchor. Pretty good for a guy who doesn't no ball.
Breece Hall will have a 3-touchdown running game this season.
3 touchdowns?
3 touchdowns or more.
I would say yeah. I think
just
so.
Rushing? Just rushing
or like
rushing. Total? Okay, just rushing.
They ain't gonna run the ball. It's Aaron Rodgers back there. He gonna air that thing out.
No, they're gonna. I mean, they drafted 2 running backs this year. I think it's gonna be a little more balanced to take the pressure off of A-Rod just a little bit. And yeah, if we're playing with the lead, I mean that he's got breakaway ability. I mean, we've seen it in the past. Even last year, coming off the ACL, he had like a lot of breakaway runs. So I think it's possible that he can do that. I mean, he did it against the Commanders last year.
Yeah, I think it's gonna happen. I'm all in on that being a possibility.
All right, Malik Neighbors will have a game of 150 yards receiving or more.
Yes. It could be week 1. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, look, for Flores is over there. I got a lot of respect for Flores. But the person now I think is Gilmore who will be a matchup with him, right? Gilmore wasn't picked up till later in the off season for a reason. Gilmore doesn't have the same speed on the island he used to have. You know what I'm saying? So them dreads are weighing him down. So I think in reality, Malik can have some success against him in week 1 if they're not gonna cloud cover or put someone over the top, put a safety over the top on him, and they won't do that in week 1 because he's a rookie, he's unproven, he hasn't done it in a game yet. I think this could be a game where he just goes absolutely berserk, and they'll move him around to the slot, they'll move him all over the place. So I think he'll have some success. It could be week 1, but it's going to happen. Yes.
We have our turn up the heat segment. Greg, I know you said you had one. I don't know if you had one, Miles, but Greg, the floor is yours.
Yeah, I am personally not a believer in Anthony Richardson as just period. I don't think he's going to be very good. I'm out, and my big reasoning for it is because from what I've seen from him, he struggles with accuracy throwing it from left to right horizontally on the field. But these horizontal playing routes where you got guys going posts, you got guys doing slants, you have in and out routes where maybe they're breaking in and breaking back out. He just really struggles with ball placement on those routes, and so much of the NFL now is making those throws against especially against zone coverages. Like you got to be able to make those throws where they're taking away the deep ball, and you're not going to be able to throw the ball on the seam or throw the ball on a 9 going straight down the field. And so I just have real questions about his accuracy. It's early. I understand that, but I don't even like the way he really veers back to throw the football either. He is a great athlete, and I think he can overcompensate for a lot of deficiencies mechanically because he's so great of an athlete. But when it comes to football and throwing the ball accurately, you really need to be sharp with your mechanics. Similar to what I was talking about with Drew Aller earlier and how you clean that up. Richardson has to clean that up. And by the way, when they took him from Florida, he was still a bit of a project. Like you needed the right coach there to get him right. And is Steichen the right guy? I mean, Steichen had experience with Jalen Hurts, so it might take some time, and he could still pop later on. But for me, I just don't really. I don't know. I'm very iffy on him, and I'm leaning towards no, that that's not going to happen. Like him being a franchise guy who can win Super Bowls for your team, I just don't really ever see it for him.
Miles, you have anything? Before you go, right? I don't have a hot take this week because I don't be forcing it. But for all those that was upset, because y'all was really upset about lemon pepper. The funny thing is, y'all proved me right because the only people that was in the comments upset was you Negroes. You Negroes. All colors and all shades too. High yellow, dark as night. Y'all was the only ones in the comments upset about, oh, where you from? You ain't never had no good. You got to be from up north. Oh, you must be trolling. No, I'm not trolling. It's absolutely disgusting. Miles, you take the floor. I'm standing on business. Y'all not going to change my mind on that. We can't hear you.
I'm going to go with Will Levis from Tennessee. I think he's going to take a step forward this year. We did add Calvin Ridley. You still got D-Hop, who I think he's another sleeper who can produce still. Granted, health is an issue, but D-Hop is still D-Hop. And Levis, he's shown that he's got good deep ball accuracy. And D-Hop's good with that. Calvin Ridley, I think he's not going to be held back by Trevor Lawrence in a way. I mean, he did drop the ball a decent amount last year. It didn't help him, but I think he's in a better spot quarterback-wise, funny enough, in Tennessee with Will Levis. And now that Derrick Henry is not there and it's not a crutch that they have to rely on the running back to carry the team all the way through, I think it's going to be a great opportunity for Will Levis to take that leap. Who knows how good they're going to be? They're still playing in a decently tough division. I mean, Jacksonville is going to be a little better. Houston's the cream of the crop. And then Anthony Richardson. There's two tails of the spectrum that he could go. He could be MVP candidate or he can be Jamarcus Russell. I mean, there's so many different ways that guy can go. But I think Will Levis is going to be one of the better quarterbacks that they've had in recent history.
I hope you're right.
Mayo
for selfish
coffee.
Reasons.
Mayo and coffee. I hope you're right on that. Also, we'll have to see. Especially, I just watched. I don't know if y'all saw it, that Aaron McNair documentary. Hey, don't cheat. Black men don't cheat. I guess he ain't hear about that when he was growing up. Because I don't think if he cheated, if he was faithful, nothing would have happened to him right there. But y'all know the vibes, man. If you stay ready, you don't got to get ready. Bench Mob, we out. Peace.